Hello and welcome to the third sector. In our society, there are three sectors: the public, the private, and the nonprofit. It's that third sector, the nonprofits, that we're here to talk about today. And technically, you're in two sectors.
We are.
The nonprofit and the public sector, right? So my guests right now are Valerie Shaffer and Bob Warner, representing the Economic Development Corporation. Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
So let's start with Valerie. Tell us, I know people are probably like me. We've heard of the Economic Development Corporation, or EDC, as most people will call it, but what exactly is it? I know I don't know everything that you do, so give us an overview of what the EDC actually is.
Of course. So the Economic Development Corporation of Wayne County was established in 1993, and we are to help facilitate new economic development opportunities for Wayne County. We are contracted with the Wayne County government, and our funding comes from the Economic Development Edit Tax that working Wayne County residents pay. And the way we facilitate new economic development projects really falls into three different areas. The first area is to work with our existing businesses to make sure that they have the tools and resources that they need to be successful. We go out and meet with our existing businesses on a regular basis to find out what barriers they may have to growth and how we can help remove those barriers so they can be successful here in Wayne County. Another bucket is through the new attraction of new businesses. So it's our job to work with new prospects to present a business case to them as to why they want to locate in Wayne County versus anywhere else across the country or even across the world. And then that third bucket is workforce development. We help to connect individuals with resources so they can continue their education as they're a part of our workforce. You know, we want them to be successful and have the skills that they need to support our existing businesses and any new businesses that we're bringing in.
Now, I know Bob is chairman of the board, and he has some goals that he wants to talk about, but let's pick those three areas apart just a little bit before we get to Bob's goals here. Let's start with the first one, helping the existing businesses. Is that only the huge businesses here in town, the ones that can bring hundreds and hundreds of jobs?
No, we do not categorize that as just large businesses. It's really any businesses that are for-profit. So we are a not-for-profit to help the for-profit industries. And then it's businesses that have a competitive advantage by being here. So we haven't supported a lot in the past our retail and restaurant sectors because we foresee those companies existing here to support an existing target market that they've identified needs their services. It's really the companies that supply to outside communities or other industries across the nation, across the country, that could successfully locate anywhere, and it's advantageous for them, or for us, for them to be here in Wayne County.
And I think sometimes that's hard for people to understand. Well, why aren't you helping me? But there is a rhyme and reason to what you do,
Sure.
and I think that helps explain it for folks out there that are listening, that there is a formula for that, and that there is a plan of attack, if you will, as to why you do what you do for the economic development in our community. So talk about the second phase of what you do.
So the new attraction of businesses, we really have to work hard to understand our community. So if you go on the EDC's website, whywaynecounty.com, we're hoping to answer that question. Why should someone locate in Wayne County? And so there's an abundant amount of data on there about our community that might help a company make that decision. There's also a buildings and sites database. It's important for us to have an inventory of what is out there so that we understand how we can meet the needs of a particular business who oftentimes has certain parameters for a building that they're looking for or specifics related to a site that they're looking for, and we have to make that match with them for a property that meets their needs.
So if a company, how do they let you know that they're looking or interested, or how do you find out someone might have a need that we could meet here in Wayne County?
All sorts of different ways. So we have a very close relationship with the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, who oftentimes sends us leads of a specific company looking for X square feet with a certain ceiling height and a number of acres to accommodate a specific industry, and they'll give us details about the potential investment, the potential new employees related to the project, and then it's our job to find that right property that meets their needs, and then to fill out what they call a request for information about our community that gives that company all the details about what they might experience should they locate here. Other times, a company will call us directly. They were driving by, or they have a customer or a supplier in the area that they want to be close to, and so we're able to work directly with them on what their needs are. But then there are other times where our community members are our advocates and helping to market the community. I just had a site visit last week from a company in northern Indiana looking for a second location, and they were attracted to Richmond by an existing business owner who was talking about the advantages of being here. So everyone in Wayne County can really be a cheerleader and a marketing extension of what we're doing, helping to promote all the positive things that are happening here.
And a lot of times we hear negative talk, especially on social media. That doesn't help our community, does it?
It does not at all, unfortunately. And so we're oftentimes trying to overcome that negativity by spreading positive news stories. We have The Bright Side, which is a website dedicated to just positive news. And we try to release stories every 6 to 8 weeks or so, helping to educate our people on all the great things going on here.
Right. Because if we're not saying good things about our community, why should other people want to relocate here or want to be part of that?
Yeah.
One question I know you probably get asked a lot. Why can't you tell us who's coming? We know you know. And I know sometimes that isn't true. You don't always know who you're wooing, if we could use that word.
That is right. Oftentimes, we don't know until the final negotiations for incentives. That's at the point where we say, we cannot offer financial incentives to a company that we don't even know who you are. You know, we want to vet the company to make sure that they're a good fit for the community, just as they're vetting us to make sure we're a good fit for them. So oftentimes, we don't know. And it's really hard. I mean, we play guessing games in the office trying to figure out who it might be. But it's really important, even if we do know, that I wait for the right time to share that, because it could be detrimental to a project should we share it too early. A lot of businesses are looking at strategic advantages amongst their competitors, and so oftentimes they're looking to locate and expand, and they don't want their competitors to know what they're doing. So it's important that we keep that information highly confidential, not to put them at a competitive disadvantage.
So you're not just being mean to us, right?
That's right.
So I know we'll come back to all the things you talk about, and I do want to come back to the educational component and finding the right employees and helping to educate our employees so that we have the right ones when those companies come calling. But let's give Bob a chance to step in here. As the chairman of the board, I assume that you've been pretty busy this year.
Yes, I have, although Valerie and the staff there at the EDC, I mean, they do all the legwork. I just mostly attend the meetings and so forth.
I think you're being modest.
He
but,
is.
Tell us what you're holding in your hand.
Well, this year when I started as chair of the board, I sat down with Valerie and the workers at the EDC, and we made a list of goals that we wanted to accomplish this year. And we sat down and made 5 goals out. And so I've got those goals, and I'd like to update everyone on what the goals were and then where we're at with those goals. So the first goal was to finalize the Home in Wayne website. And that is a website to try to attract people back to Wayne County. A lot of the people who've graduated from high school here and moved away to Indianapolis or other places. So I guess I would say over the past few years, the focus of the EDC has been expanding and from working with businesses to add buildings and equipment so they can hire new employees, to also helping them recruit and then hire the new employees here. And the website was up and running during the first quarter of 2019, and I would encourage all of you to visit the website to see what it has to offer. So that goal was accomplished fairly early in 2019. The second goal was to help work out a resolution to the Western Wayne Regional Sewer District situation. We've been working, well, over the past 3 or 4 years over there to develop a new plan for wastewater treatment and getting the Gateway Industrial Park, the wastewater treated there, as well as all of the Western Wayne community in Cambridge City, Dublin, and so forth. And an agreement has now been reached on that, building a new plant in Cambridge City, so we're very happy that that's happening. There's a few details we're still working out, but everybody is in agreement with the overall plan. So that's our second goal. So.
And what will that enable you to do that you weren't able to do before?
Market the Gateway Industrial Park is the main thing as far as the EDC goes. I mean, it will also, help just any area around Cambridge City or anything expand, have new businesses come in there. But for the EDC, there's, how many acres do we have there?
We have 97 shovel-ready acres remaining in that park. So as I talk about the importance of having buildings and sites, the EDC often takes the lead on the development of our industrial parks. And with the great success of Sugar Creek Packing Company, Dot Foods, and Taconic and the Gateway Industrial Park, it led us to no additional wastewater treatment capacity, so we could not attract any new industry to locate in that park. So this project that Bob is talking about is extremely important to us in having additional inventory for industrial park ground.
Super.
And the third goal is also related to industrial park space. We have some space left in phase 1 of the Midwest Industrial Park here in Richmond, and what we want to do is be able to utilize as much of that area as we can. There's certain areas that have wetlands, and so we're not able to utilize all that space. So we've been doing land surveys, some engineering planning studies, and environmental investigations to see what we can do to mitigate those wetlands and just get more area in that industrial park. And we believe we can get close to 100 acres of land that's now hard to get to, or it may be blocked by a wetland or something. So that's the third goal, and we're working on mitigating the wetlands right now. So that's where that goal stands. The fourth goal is also related to industrial parks, and that is to find additional larger tracts of land to market to potential employers. And working with Wayne County and the City of Richmond, the EDC has obtained options on land on either side of Round Barn Road, along Gar-Jackson Road, to be able to market. So the due diligence is being performed on that land as we speak, really. Mm-hmm. You want to say some of what you're doing?
I would just add that land was extremely important in getting options on, because a lot of companies want over 100 acres, and we didn't have a good 100-plus acre site to present until now. So right now we're doing all of those fund due diligence reports, environmental site assessments, archaeological reviews, geotechnical soil borings, everything to ensure that the ground is stable and able to be built on for industrial purposes.
When you start a process like that, how long does it take from start to finish?
Well, we had been negotiating for over a year.
Over a year.
To obtain the option. So now it's been about 6 months as we go through the due diligence process, working with all of the utility providers to understand what upgrades they might have to make in order to serve industrial clients there.
So it could take up to 2 years to acquire the land and be ready to offer it to someone.
That's right.
No wonder it takes so long.
And then the fifth goal was to review all of the EDC bylaws and guidelines and make sure they're current and that they're being followed but they're current so that they make sense in today's marketplace. And we've had task forces made up from EDC board members reviewed both the bylaws and guidelines and developed and updated everything, and so that was the fifth goal, and we've achieved that goal. So I think it's been a very good year in the sense of the goals that we came up with and where we're at with all of them.
And I applaud you. Often organizations are looking outside. They're looking at what can we do externally, and they forget to look at themselves. You know, how are we doing? Are we a healthy organization? And just as you said, are our bylaws up to date? How is our board? Are we a healthy board? So I really applaud you for that fifth goal, where you are taking the temperature of your organization and making sure that you're healthy. That's very important,
Thank you.
especially in such a fast-paced world that we're living in.
And boy, is it fast-paced.
Unless you want land, right?
Right.
Well, thank you. Thank you for covering those goals. I think those are really valuable goals that you have set, and it sounds like you're making incredible progress toward meeting all of those.
Well, I mean, I look to the staff, Valerie, and the staff at the EDC. They're the ones that just get out there and do the work and get things done. So can't say enough good about the work that they do.
Yeah. Well, before we jump back to the third pillar that we were going to talk about, let's talk about staff. You don't have a big staff doing all of this work.
We don't. There are 4 of us.
Tell us about your staff and what their particular focus is.
So my role as president is, of course, overseeing the team, but also primarily handling the new attraction side of things. So I kind of call myself the salesperson for Wayne County, where I'm going out to major markets across the United States, either meeting directly with site selection consultants and real estate brokers, or going to conferences that they attend to network and promote the assets and amenities of Wayne County, oftentimes hoping to develop a lead from that. And I will say that was the very case about 3 years ago at a conference where I met the site selection consultant working on behalf of Blue Buffalo General Mills. I was able to make that contact, talk about our pet food processing cluster we already had here in Wayne County, talk about our industrial park, and before I knew it, they were making a visit to Richmond. So it's very important for me to get out of Richmond and Wayne County and be out promoting what we have available.
And I believe that included a trip to China, or maybe multiple trips to China.
Japan.
Japan.
Yes. Yes. Mayor Snow and I have traveled to Japan twice now, meeting with our 6 Japanese company headquarters over there, thanking them for their investment here, and then meeting with new prospects as well.
So these aren't, I know it's easy for us sitting on the outside to go, oh, they're just jetting off to Japan and having a good time. Tell us a little bit about that trip. It wasn't just fun and games, was it?
Oh, no. It's exhausting. So the planning and detail that goes into it is it's very lengthy. You know, we're planning for 6 to 8 months in advance. And then once you get over there, we have a packed schedule day and night. We're not just going off to dinner amongst ourselves. We have business dinners, we have business lunches, we have meetings in between. We're traveling by railroad, subway, high express rail, or high speed rail is what I meant to say, but it's a lot of travel, and we have to stick to a very intense schedule while we're there in order to accommodate all of the meetings and make the most use of our time over there.
And as you said, it's thanking the people that have already located here, but also with an eye toward other companies.
Yes.
That may follow suit and come, and as you said, with other instances, they see what's going on here, they may want to come.
Exactly.
Yes.
And that's especially true with Japanese culture. They look to their peers to see what decisions they've made and ask for feedback. And so anytime we're hosting a Japanese prospect, we always initiate meetings with our existing Japanese companies to talk about their experience here.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, who else?
We have Sarah Mitchell. She is our manager of existing business and education. Sarah is really tasked with being the lead on meeting with our existing businesses and finding out if there's ways in which that we can assist them, and then also connecting them to educational resources. So we have an abundance of higher educational institutions here. Our students in Wayne County in high school go to 3 different career centers. So it's about connecting employers to where job seekers will be graduating from to make sure that they have the opportunity to get in front of those students, whether they're college graduates or high school graduates, so they have the opportunity to look at hiring them. And so she's working with those educational institutions also to connect them with employers, because there's oftentimes partnerships that can occur as well with internships and things of that nature. And then Sarah does play a large role in our industrial park development as well. She is experienced as a city planner, formerly with the City of Richmond, so she brings to us great knowledge in that area. And then we have Rene Dodi. Rene is our Manager of Community Affairs, and really what that means is all things marketing. As Bob mentioned with the Home and Wayne campaign, we have really expanded our target audience at the EDC over the last 2 years. We're no longer just marketing to companies to locate here. Now we're marketing to people, because we know people are our greatest resource that's highly valued by our employers. So if our employers are going to be successful, we have to ensure that we have the workforce to support them. So the Home and Wayne campaign has really been Renee's baby, where she's helped to develop it along with Iron Gate Creative out of Hagerstown. They've done a phenomenal job for us, and so Renee is that liaison between the team and all of our marketing efforts to make sure that everything's running smoothly. And then we have Teresa Lindsay. She is the newest member to our team. She is our office manager, and she comes to us with several years of HR experience working within industry. So she brings a lot of insight from her days as practicing as a manufacturing HR manager to help us understand some of the needs of those companies as we look to try to develop new resources for them. So she handles all of anything related to the office, all of our financials and things like that.
Sounds like a great team.
It is. Very fortunate.
Now I want to go back to that third pillar where we were talking about educating the workforce and the work that you do to make sure when someone comes, we've got a workforce that's ready to work.
Sure.
How does that work?
So about 3 years ago, maybe 4 now, we developed a new website called HoosierOpportunity.com, and that is a local resource for careers. So we partnered with our friends up in Jay and Randolph County at their economic development offices to create this website so that we're consolidating the way in which our people look for jobs. This is a free resource to our employers to post any job that pays $10 per hour or more. And then we are promoting it all over the region, trying to connect people to job opportunities. While it's great that we are located along I-70 for industry to get goods here quickly and to get goods out quickly, that also means our people can commute in and out of Wayne County. So they can elect to live here and then work elsewhere, or vice versa. So we really want to encourage people who are living here to try to find local jobs. And then also when it comes to workforce development, we're not the ones delivering any services. We're simply promoting them. Again, trying to make those connections to make sure that individuals know opportunities exist here, such as the state of Indiana's Next Level Job program. That is free training for any individuals who do not have an associate's degree or higher. They can go to VTEC or Vincennes University and apply, and their schooling will be paid for dozens of certifications that are available that are high demand, high wage jobs within the state of Indiana.
So if folks are out there listening saying, I want to do that, how did they find more information about that? Because that's huge.
Sure. They can go to nextleveljobs.org. And that will guide them through the application process. It's very simple. And then someone from VTEC will reach out to them about specific opportunities here in Wayne County for training.
And if they need a little extra help with that, is there someone in your office that can answer questions about that for them?
VTEC is really taking the lead on that.
VTEC,
yes,
okay.
That would be the appropriate contact.
Super. Another great community partner.
Fantastic. They are wonderful partners of ours.
Super. Well, we're getting down toward the end of our show, so I want to give you an opportunity to tell me what you would like to talk about. What have we not covered that you feel is really important that our audience out there knows about the Economic Development Corporation of Wayne County?
Well, I guess I would say over this past year, we have worked with 4 local companies who have decided to invest in their growth here in Wayne County. Collectively, those 4 companies have committed to investing $22 million in their facilities and hiring or retaining 160 individuals. So we're very proud of that work. I always tell people the EDC does not create jobs. Your elected officials do not create jobs. We help to facilitate the investment by industry so that they can create the jobs that our people deserve. And so when it comes to the work that we're doing with workforce development, we want to help facilitate higher skill levels within our residents so that they can earn higher wages. We know that the two are directly correlated. And so in Wayne County, we have a somewhat lower educational attainment levels compared to some of our neighbors. So we really want to encourage additional education for our residents, and we have a lot of resources for them. So beyond the next level jobs, if there are any questions, they can certainly contact the EDC office, and we will try to help facilitate a connection for them.
Bob, do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I mean, I just think some of the successes this year, the Blue Buffalo facility did have their grand opening. You know, that was great. We're working in the downtown area to try to find someone who's interested in purchasing the older Bierman building. So, you know, that's another, it's not a success yet, but it will be soon. We're working toward that direction. There's also opportunity zones, a new program that's come out this year and available that's trying to get areas that could use a shot in the arm and investment, and Richmond has some of those opportunity zones, so those are being looked at and worked on to try to get additional investments in the downtown area. So there's a lot of things happening to try to improve the entire area all around the county.
Yes. Well, unfortunately, we're out of time. I feel like we could talk another 30 minutes about all the great things that you're doing. But I want to thank you, Bob, for volunteering your time and being part of the growth that we're seeing in our community, and Valerie for all that you're doing, you and your team, I should say. I think amazing things are happening in our community. I'm glad that they are positive things, and I thank you for that. Thanks for being my guest today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for The Third Sector.